She was your world. Every moment, every thought, every plan for the future revolved around her. You gave her your time, your loyalty, your devotion, without hesitation, without second-guessing. But she walked away. She looked you in the eyes, maybe even with tears, and still chose someone else. That kind of pain doesn't just sting. It carves itself into your soul, making you question everything. Was it something you did? Were you not enough? Was he better than you? The thoughts spiral, the memories replay, and the weight of betrayal sits heavy on your chest. It feels like defeat, like you've lost something irreplaceable. But what if I told you that you haven't lost at all? What if I told you that this moment, as painful as it is, isn't your downfall, it's your awakening? This isn't just heartbreak. This is a shift. Right now you feel shattered, but let me tell you something no one else will. This is where your true strength begins. This isn't an end. It's a rebirth. You see, pain is inevitable. It hits everyone, sooner or later. But suffering? That's a choice. That's what the ancient Stoics understood. Life will throw storms your way, but whether you drown in them or stand tall and unshaken, that's up to you. You didn't fail. You didn't lose. She simply made a choice, and that choice revealed something crucial. She was never yours to begin with. If she could walk away so easily, then she was only borrowing space in your life, never truly belonging there. Think about it. The pain you feel isn't just about losing her. It's about losing the version of yourself that revolved around her. And that's where your power begins, because now you get to rebuild. Now you get to take everything you once poured into her and invest it in the one person who truly deserves it. You. The worst thing you can do right now is cling to the illusion that she was the key to your happiness. She wasn't. No one is. The moment you start believing that, you give away your strength. And that ends today. The truth is, she didn't make you who you are. She didn't define your worth. And she damn sure isn't the reason you wake up every morning. You are. Your purpose is. Your growth is. And this pain, this betrayal, it's the fuel you need to become something greater than you ever were with her. Right now, you have a choice. Let this break you, or let this build you. The ones who stay stuck, the ones who beg, who chase, who hold on, they remain trapped in the past. But the ones who take this pain and use it, they rise. They become unshakable. And when she looks back, she won't see the man she left. She'll see the man she can never have again. So don't waste another second mourning what was never meant to last. Don't waste another tear on someone who didn't see your value. Instead, take this as the moment you choose power. You choose resilience. You choose yourself. And when you do, the world will see a man who didn't just survive heartbreak. He conquered it. If you're ready for that, if you're ready to stop suffering and start rising, drop a comment below. I choose strength. Because from this moment on, that's exactly what you'll embody. She didn't leave because he's better. That's the first lie your mind is trying to convince you of. You sit there, replaying the breakup like a broken record, searching for the moment you failed, the thing you should have done differently, the word you should have said instead. It's a trap, and if you're not careful, you'll fall into it so deep that you forget the truth entirely. The truth is, this was never about logic. Women don't leave because they weigh out pros and cons like a business deal. They leave because they feel something, or stop feeling something. And that's what happened. You keep thinking, was he taller? Was he richer? Was he stronger? But those questions miss the point entirely. Hypergamy is real, but it's not just about money or looks. It's about emotions. It's about how a man makes her feel. And at some point, whether you saw it coming or not, She stopped feeling the way she wanted to with you. Not because you were lacking, not because you weren't good enough, but because she craved something different. And that difference, no matter how small, is what made her choose him. Here's what most men never understand. Stability and predictability are great for life, but they are poison to emotional excitement. In the beginning, you were a mystery. Every text, every touch, every glance held the unknown. She felt the rush of uncertainty, the thrill of discovering who you were. But over time, she unraveled the mystery. She saw the patterns, she learned the rhythms, and she knew exactly what to expect. And when there's nothing left to uncover, the excitement fades. Not because you did something wrong, but because she's wired to seek new emotional highs. This doesn't mean you should play games, become someone you're not, or constantly keep her on edge to hold her interest. That's not the lesson here. The real lesson is this: you can't control how someone else feels. You can be the most loyal, hard-working, devoted man in the world. And if she decides she wants something else, nothing you do will change that. And that's where most men break. They beg, they negotiate, they try to prove their worth, thinking if they can just show her how much they love her, she'll see the light and come back. But that never works, because the moment you start chasing, you confirm what she already felt, that the emotional charge is gone. The only thing you truly control is how you react. That's the lesson the Stoics lived by. Life will take things from you. It will rip away people you thought would never leave. It will test you, betray you, and push you to the edge. But suffering isn't in the loss itself. It's in the way you respond to it. You are not defined by who stays or who goes. You are not measured by a woman's choices. Your value does not come from external validation. It comes from you. She left, and that's her decision. But you're still here. And the moment you realize that, you take back the power you thought you lost. Because here's the reality. She might have chosen another man, but that doesn't mean he won. The real loss isn't when someone walks away. The real loss is when you let that define you, when you let their choice determine your self-worth. And you're too strong for that. So let her go. Not out of bitterness, not out of resentment, but out of understanding. She did what she felt she needed to do, and now it's your turn. Not to chase, not to convince, but to rise. Because when a man truly embraces this truth, he becomes untouchable. He no longer needs validation. He no longer fears loss. He no longer begs for someone to see his worth, because he knows it. And when you reach that level, you don't just move on, you level up. And that's a power no one can take from you. Love isn't about how much you give. It isn't about how nice you are, how loyal you remain, or how much you sacrifice. Society has drilled into your mind that if you are stable, kind, and always there for her, she will never leave. But that belief is an illusion, one that has shattered the hearts of countless men who thought love was something they could secure through effort alone. The truth is, love isn't a reward for good behavior. It isn't something you earn through devotion. Love is emotion, raw, unpredictable, and constantly shifting. It doesn't obey logic, and it certainly doesn't care about fairness. You think that because you were always there, always supportive, always reliable, that she should have stayed. But she didn't. And the reason is simple. Love isn't about what you do for her. It's about how she feels when she's with you. A man can give a woman everything, his time, his energy, his loyalty, and still lose her to someone who gives her none of those things. Not because he is a better man, but because he triggers something deeper inside her, something that can't be measured in gestures or words. She doesn't fall in love with the things you do. She falls in love with the experience of being with you. The mistake most men make is putting a woman at the center of their world, thinking that devotion will be enough. They think, if I just love her more, if I just do more for her, she will never leave. But the opposite happens. The more you revolve around her, the more she pulls away. The more you seek her approval, the less she values you. She doesn't want a man who makes her his purpose. She wants a man who has a purpose of his own. The moment you abandon your path to follow her, she starts losing respect for you. She might not say it. She might not even realize it. But deep down, she begins to feel it. Women don't want to be the center of a man's universe. They want to join a man who is already building something bigger than himself. They want to be part of the journey, not the destination. When a man loses sight of his purpose and makes her his focus, he thinks he's showing love. But what he's really showing is weakness. And weakness is never attractive. She may appreciate it at first. She may even tell you she wants it. But over time, the lack of challenge, the absence of mystery, the predictable comfort, it all drains the emotional excitement. This doesn't mean love isn't real. It doesn't mean loyalty doesn't matter. But a wise man understands that love, no matter how strong, is always temporary. It comes and goes like the tides, unpredictable and beyond your control. The only thing you can control is how you handle it. A strong man values love, but he never clings to it. He commits, but he never begs. He embraces the moment, but he is never owned by it. That is the Stoic lesson. You can give your heart, but never at the cost of your soul. You can cherish love, but never let it define your worth. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much she loved you once, no matter how deep the connection felt, emotions change. And if your sense of self is built on something as fleeting as feelings, then you were never standing on solid ground to begin with. The only thing you can rely on, the only thing you can truly own, is your purpose. And once you learn that, you stop chasing love. And love starts chasing you. She walked away, and now your mind is stuck on the idea that you lost her. But that's the wrong way to look at it. Stop for a second and flip the perspective. She lost you. She walked away from a man who was loyal, dedicated, and willing to build a future with her. She left someone who would have stood by her side, someone who was willing to weather life's storms together. That's not your loss. That's hers. Right now, it might not feel that way. The pain tricks you into believing that if she left, it must mean you weren't good enough, that maybe you should have done more, been more, tried harder. But that kind of thinking will destroy you. A man who knows his worth does not beg for someone to see it. He does not chase after someone who discarded him. Because when a woman walks away, she's making a statement, whether she realizes it or not. She's saying that whatever she was looking for, she didn't see it in you, and that is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of her perception. But here's the truth about perception. It changes. Today, she thinks leaving was the right choice. Maybe she believes she's upgrading. Maybe she's chasing something new, something different. But one day, when the excitement fades and reality sets in, she'll realize what she walked away from. And by then, you'll be long gone. You won't be sitting in the past, wondering what went wrong. You won't be looking at her as the one that got away, because by then, you will have become a man so focused on his own growth that the thought of chasing her will seem laughable. Why would you run after someone who didn't value you? Why would you waste your time trying to prove your worth to someone who was blind to it? The moment you stop seeing yourself as the one who lost and start understanding that she is the one who let go of something real, is the moment you take your power back. Because real power comes from detachment, from understanding that you don't need anyone who doesn't choose you. This is where Stoicism comes in. It teaches that your peace, your strength, your worth should never be tied to something or someone you cannot control. And the one thing you will never be able to control is another person's choices. She made hers, now make yours. Decide that the only thing worth pursuing is self-mastery, not her, not the past, not the endless loop of what-ifs and if-onlys, but yourself, your purpose, your growth, your future. Let her think she won. Let her believe she made the right choice. None of that matters. What matters is that you rise from this not as a man who was abandoned, but as a man who refuses to be broken. You didn't lose her. She lost you. And one day she will realize it. But by then, you won't even care. She left, and right now, it might feel like your whole world is falling apart. The urge to reach out, to fix things, to somehow win her back is strong. That's natural, but it's also the worst thing you could do. Most men make that mistake. They beg, they plead, they chase after someone who has already chosen to walk away, and in doing so, they strip themselves of the very thing that makes a man powerful, self-respect. You don't need to convince anyone to stay in your life. The moment you feel like you have to convince her, you've already lost. Because attraction isn't built on pleading. It's built on presence, on purpose, on strength. And the strongest move you can make right now is silence. No calls, no texts. No desperate attempts to remind her of what you had. Just disappear. Let her wonder where you went. Let her sit with her decision without you there to soften the consequences. This isn't about games. It's about understanding power. And power isn't about controlling her. It's about controlling yourself. When you pull back and focus on yourself, something interesting happens. You start to change. You start to grow. You put all that energy that was once wasted on trying to be enough for her, into yourself, into your mind, your body, your goals. And as you level up, she'll notice. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. Because the version of you that she left behind, that version is gone. And here's the irony. When she sees that growth, when she realizes that you didn't break without her, but instead became better, she'll start to question her choice. She'll wonder if she made a mistake. Because deep down, every woman wants a man who is moving forward, not a man who is stuck in the past. But by the time she realizes this, it won't matter. Because you'll be too busy winning. You'll be too focused on the life you're building to care about the one who walked away. This is the advantage most men never realize they have. Heartbreak can destroy you, or it can fuel you. It all depends on what you do with it. You can waste months, even years, obsessing over someone who left, or you can use that pain to sharpen yourself, to become the kind of man who never has to chase again. The choice is yours. Stoicism teaches that control over oneself is control over one's destiny. A man who masters his emotions, who does not crumble when faced with loss, is a man who cannot be broken. And that is the kind of man who truly wins, not just in relationships, but in life. So let her go. Let her see what life is like without you. And while she's looking back, wondering if she made the right choice, you'll be too far ahead to even notice. She expected you to break, to sit there, drowning in regret, waiting for her to come back. That's how it usually goes, right? A man loses the woman he loves, and suddenly, his whole world stops. He overthinks, overanalyzes, and wonders what he could have done differently. But the moment you stop caring, everything changes. That's when the power shifts, not just in your relationships, but in you. Indifference is not about acting like you don't care. It's about genuinely not caring, about realizing that your happiness, your self-worth, your entire existence does not depend on any one person. When you reach that state, you become untouchable. She can leave, she can come back, she can choose someone else, and it won't shake you. Because a man who is self-sufficient, who stands firm, regardless of who stays or goes, is a man who commands respect. Women don't respond to desperation. They respond to presence, to strength, to a man who is solid with or without them. The moment you stop needing her approval, her validation, or her love to feel whole, you elevate to a level most men never reach. And she will notice. She will sense the difference. Because deep down, every woman is drawn to a man who doesn't need her, but simply chooses to be with her. The difference is subtle, but it's everything. Most men lose themselves in relationships. They start strong, confident, focused, driven, but over time they shift their entire world around a woman. They prioritize her over their purpose, over their personal growth, over the things that made them attractive in the first place. And when she senses that shift, the attraction fades. Not because she's cruel, not because she wants to hurt you, but because nothing kills desire faster than a man who loses himself for love. The solution? Indifference. Not coldness, not bitterness, but true emotional detachment. When you stop reacting to every move she makes, when you stop seeking reassurance, when you stop trying to be what you think she wants, you reclaim your power. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability creates intrigue. But here's the key. This isn't about trying to win her back. It's not about playing a role or pretending to be something you're not. It's about actually becoming the kind of man who is so focused on his own journey that whether she stays or goes becomes irrelevant. When you reach that mindset, you win, not just in relationships, but in life. Stoicism teaches that true strength isn't about controlling others, but mastering oneself. A man who is ruled by emotions, by attachment, by the fear of losing someone, is a man who is easily broken. But a man who stands firm, who remains steady regardless of external circumstances, is a man who cannot be shaken. And that is the man you must become. So let go of the need to be chosen, to be validated, to be loved in return. Focus on your path and watch how the world starts to move in your favor. She walked away, and maybe right now it feels like she took a part of you with her. The late-night thoughts, the what-ifs, the empty space where she used to be. It all weighs heavy. But here's the truth. This is not the end of you. This is the beginning of something greater. A version of you that wouldn't have been born if not for this pain. You don't just move on, you evolve. And that evolution starts now. The first step? Cut all ties. Not just physical, but mental. No texts, no calls, no checking her social media to see if she's moved on. She is no longer your concern. Every time you reach for your phone, every time you let your mind wander to what she might be doing, you are handing over your power. And a man who values himself does not waste time chasing someone who has already left. Indifference is your greatest weapon now. Use it. Next, rebuild yourself. Physically, a broken heart can drain your energy, make you feel weak, unmotivated. Fight back. Get in the gym. Push yourself harder than you ever have. Let the pain fuel you. Let every rep, every drop of sweat be a step toward the strongest version of yourself. Your body is a reflection of your discipline, and discipline breeds confidence. When you see yourself transforming in the mirror, when you feel that raw strength in your own hands, you won't be thinking about who left. You'll be focused on what's ahead. But strength is not just physical. Your mind must evolve too. Read books that challenge you. Meditate to regain control over your thoughts. Learn new skills that sharpen your intellect. The greatest revenge is becoming untouchable. Not by proving anything to her, but by proving to yourself that you are always more than enough. Heartbreak is a test, and the men who rise above it are the ones who refuse to let it break them. Then there's your purpose. This is where most men fail. They spend so much time revolving around a woman that they forget the bigger picture. A man without a purpose is a man who is easily replaced. But a man who is driven, who is locked in on his mission, becomes magnetic. Women don't follow men who chase them. They follow men who chase greatness. So shift your focus entirely. Build something, create something, become something so undeniably valuable that the past becomes nothing more than a distant lesson. And finally, without even trying, you'll become the man she regrets losing. But by then, it won't matter. Because the truth is, this journey was never about her. It was about you, about rediscovering your worth, about stepping into your full power. The irony, the moment you truly stop caring, is the moment she starts to notice. When she sees you unbothered, thriving, becoming something she never thought you would be. She may try to come back, but the man you're becoming, the man who has rebuilt himself from the ashes, won't even want her anymore. Pain can break you, or it can build you. Let it refine you, sharpen you, push you beyond what you thought was possible. You don't need her back. You never did. What you needed was this wake-up call, and now that you have it, there's no going back. Rise, evolve, and become the man you were meant to be. And now, you stand at a crossroads. The old you, the one who begged, who replayed every memory, who wondered what went wrong, he's fading. In his place, a new man is emerging. A man who understands that true power doesn't come from trying to control others, but from mastering himself. This isn't just about moving on. It's about stepping into the life you were always meant to have. Repeat after me. I do not chase. I attract. Let those words sink in. Chasing is for the weak, for the men who haven't yet realized their worth. But you don't need to chase anyone. Because when you focus on yourself, your growth, your strength, your purpose, the right people naturally gravitate toward you. Not because you begged for their attention, but because your presence demands it. This is not the end of your story. In fact, it's just the beginning. The moment you truly let go is the moment you set yourself free. Free from the weight of the past, free from the need for closure, free from the illusion that she was the best thing that ever happened to you. She wasn't. The best thing that ever happened to you was this pain, this awakening, this opportunity to rise. But understand this, you are not doing this for revenge. You are not doing this to prove anything to her or to anyone else. If your motivation is still tied to her in any way, then you haven't truly let go. And letting go is the ultimate victory. Because when you release the past, you create space for something far greater, your future. A future where you walk with confidence, where you know your value without needing external validation, where your happiness isn't dependent on anyone else. And here's the truth.